Fusion Mobile, quality e-learning experience on the go.
Welcome back to our class. Our topic for today is captioned simple equations. Simple equations. Simple equations. And just like the topic says, they are not difficult. They are simple aspects of mathematics you will easily understand. Alright, I want us to take a rehearsal of symbols, mathematical symbols, and then the symbols positive, negative, multiplication and division, okay, are always found in an arithmetic expression. They always find in an arithmetic expressions, and they are used for operations. Okay, we call them the operators. Alright, and you should as well note that when you have multiplications in the form of 6 times n or n times 6, you can write as 6n, or you can write as n6. Alright, we do all this in order to save time and space, and that is why in your algebra sometimes when you are given a divided by b, you can as well write in the form of a over b. Okay, so I'll quickly take you into the laws of science. Laws of science. Take into the laws of science, and then when the signs are the same, what happens? The law of science states that when the signs are the same, alright, you keep the signs and add the absolute value. I think this will be a bit tasking to understand. For example, when you have plus 9, positive 9 adding positive 7, okay, their absolute value is as good as 9 plus 7. This is what we call their absolute value, which gives you 16. Alright, and another example 2, okay, you might be given minus 14 and plus minus 8, okay, and just like it says, keep their absolute values, okay, and add the numbers together. But this might look a bit confusing, and 22, but never mind, I'm going to make it look simple. And now how do I make it look simple? And I want us to use subtraction sign, that's the minus sign, to denote debt. Okay, what I mean by debt is, you are owing. Okay, you are owing, and then use the addition sign, addition, to denote payment of debt. Okay, alright, you have paid what you are owing. If we see these two symbols in this light, it will make computations very easy for us. Okay, alright, and from the first example we can say that plus 9, okay, could mean that you are paying 9 naira and you pay another 7 naira. When you pay 9 naira and you pay another 7 naira, how much will you pay? That means you're paying 16 naira. Okay, you've paid 16 naira. Alright, and for the second example, we could say that you are owing 14 naira and you want to pay, but you don't have money, and you borrow another 8 naira. Okay, you are owing 14 naira and you are owing another 8 naira. How much will you owe? Okay, you owe 22 naira, and since you're still owing the sign, negative applies. Okay, and then rule number 2 states that when the signs are different, so what do? You keep the sign of the number with the larger absolute value. Okay, and then find the difference, between the absolute values. Find the difference between the absolute values. Right, of the numbers. Okay, for example, we are given this. You have example A, you're given -9 plus 7, okay, which is equal to, and you're told to keep the number, the absolute value, keep the sign of the absolute value of the bigger number. The bigger number here is 9, and the sign with it is 7. Okay, and then find their difference. Okay, which will give you what? 9 minus 7 gives you 2, and then -2. Alright, if we use my method, you find out that solution A can as well be written as -9 plus 7, okay, which is 9 naira, and I'm gonna pay 7 naira. Okay, if I owe 9 naira and I pay 7 naira, it gives that I still owing 2 naira. Okay, and since I'm still owing, that's why it's minus. And example B, you have a -12 and then plus 17. Okay, and the sign with the bigger absolute value here is plus, and then finding the difference between the two values, 17 minus 12. Okay, and then you have 17 minus 12 to be 5, and so the value is 5. Alright, and using my own method, alright, you have plus 17. Ordinarily you can as well say plus. You know what happens when you multiply positive and positive? It becomes positive. Okay, good. And so you have you are owing 12 naira and you have 17 naira to pay. So how much will you owe? Will you still be owing? No, you will pay all your debts and you have a balance of 5 naira. And since you are not owing, that's why you don't see any minus sign coming out with the outcome. Alright, okay, let us look at subtraction. And see what it is all about. Subtraction, alright, it changes, subtraction change the sign of the number. Changes the sign of the number to be subtracted. Okay, and with the new sign. And then you apply a lot of addition. Okay, we take examples. For example, Okay, let us find out the effect of subtraction. You know, from the previous examples we did, the numbers we have here, the numbers are adding together. The numbers are adding together, just like here too. We have these numbers adding together. So assuming we have subtraction, okay, for example, number 1, we have plus 14 minus plus 8. Okay, assuming we have subtraction at the center. Okay, good. How do we carry out this operation? The instruction says that you change the sign of the number to be subtracted with the new sign and apply addition. Alright, you change the sign of the number to be subtracted with the new sign and then apply the laws of addition. And if you do that, you have 14 minus 8 to be equal to 6. Okay, this is the number to be subtracted. You change its sign with the new sign being the subtraction sign. Okay, this is the new sign, this is the sign of the number to be subtracted. I have called it the old sign, and then when you change the new and the old, you have this. Alright, a good way of doing this is by setting it up like this: plus 14 minus plus 8. Okay, ordinarily minus times plus will lead us to saying plus 14 minus 8. All right, and you could say if I have 14 naira and I owe 8 naira, how much will I have left? If I pay my debt of 8 naira with the 14 naira I have, I'll be left with a balance of 6 naira. And the same thing from 2, you have plus 17 and then minus 8. Okay, alright, you change the sign, the old sign. It doesn't really work out here, but we can say plus 17 minus 8, and then when you multiply the two signs, minus, it gives an outcome of plus 8, and then you have 17 naira and you have 8 naira, and you'll be having a balance of 17 plus 8, and it's the ordinary computation 25. Alright, what of minus 4? Okay, let's see what happens here using the method in the last example. You have minus 4, and then these two minus sign multiplies each other, and then they give you minus multiplying, you know, they change to plus, and then you have 4, and then you are owing 8 naira and you have 4 naira. It can't pay all the debt, so you owe a debt of 4 naira, and so it continues that way. It continues that way. And should, in case you have questions to ask about this, alright, we can revise what we said about multiplication. We say that in multiplication, when a positive sign multiplies a positive sign, the outcome is positive, and when a positive sign multiplies a negative sign, the outcome is negative, and then when a negative sign multiplies a positive sign, the outcome is negative too. And number 4 states that when a negative sign multiplies a negative sign, the outcome is positive. Alright, so we'll as well look at what happens with division. Okay, rule number 1 in division states that when two positive numbers divide each other, the outcome is positive. Rule number 2 states that when a positive number is divided by a negative number, the outcome is a negative number. And rule number 3 states that when a negative number is divided by a positive number, the outcome is negative 2. And rule number 4 states that when a negative number divides a negative number, the outcome is a positive number. And so assuming you are given 2 over 2, the answer will be positive, to give you 1. Alright, and for this plus 2 over minus 2, okay, will give you minus 1. And the same thing happens here, minus 2 over 2, minus 1, and then minus 2 over minus 2. Ordinarily the signs will take care of themselves, and then this gives you 1. And so, having gone through these laws guiding simple equations, we will go into examples. We'll go into solving simple equations. Alright, example, assuming you are told to evaluate 1 minus 3 times minus 6 all over minus 2. Okay, when you want to do your multiplication, start with the signs and then to the digits. Minus times minus gives you plus, and then 3 times 6 gives you 18, and then you bring down your minus 2. What happens when negative and positive signs are related? Okay, what happens here? The outcome will start with negative, and then 2 divided by 18 will give you 9. Okay, then let's take another example. Example 2, minus 4 times minus 1, okay, and times minus 2 times minus 3. Alright, so all you need to do is you can do the two of these together, and as well do the two of these together. So you have minus minus giving you plus, and then 4 times 1 is 4. Okay, and then here too you have minus minus, and you have an outcome of plus, and then 2 times 3 is 6. Okay, so you now have 4 times plus 6, okay, which you can as well write as 4 times 6. We don't normally include these signs, positive signs, when a number is positive. We don't normally include the plus sign. Why? Because we intend to save space. Okay, because if we write natural numbers as plus 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus, it wouldn't really make sense, so we intend to save space. Alright, and let's go over to example 2. Simplify this. You're told to simplify minus 7 divided by plus 8, okay, times minus 16. Alright, what happens in your board mass? I believe everyone remembers that board mass, okay, still plays a role here, because division comes after multiplication. We can say minus 7 all over plus 8, and then times 16. Alright, times minus 16. And so between these two, I think we can write this as minus 7 over 8, because when positive and negative go together, negative comes out, and then minus 16. Alright, I think 8 can take care of 16 to give you 2, and so you have minus 7 times minus 2. Multiply the two signs first, you have plus, and then 2 times 7 is 14, which is as good as saying 14. Alright, we'll talk about expansion and factorization. Expansion of factorization of simple algebraic expression. Alright, we call them algebraic expressions when the use of letters of the alphabets are introduced into digits. Okay, when alphabets and digits are used together, or the alphabets are used alone and joined with operators, then we call them algebraic expressions. Alright, we solve by example. Okay, solving by example, we have example number 1 is 3a plus b. Okay, so how do we expand this? This is an expression we need to expand the expression below. Alright, so how do you expand this? The multiplication goes this way: 3 first moves, multiplies a, and then it moves again and multiplies b to give you 3a when it moves the first time. And then note the sign that follows the next multiplication. Okay, note the sign that follows each of the values inside the bracket. 3 multiplies plus a, it will give you plus 3a, but I wouldn't write a plus. But if 3 multiplies plus b, it gives you plus 3b. Okay, and that's the way the sign that joins them comes about. And we'll take other examples so you'll understand better. Okay, assuming you have example 2, and then you have 5x minus y. Okay, the same thing happens here: 5 takes on x and it gives you 5x, and then 5 moves again and takes on y, it gives you minus 5y, because this is not just y, this is minus y. 5 takes on minus y, it gives you minus 5y. Alright, we have to take some few more examples on factorization, on expansion, and then we can do 1 or 2 things about factorization. Alright, okay, so assuming there are 2 brackets, sets of numbers. For example, assuming for example 3, you are told to expand a plus b and then x minus y. Okay, how do we go about this? Now look at what happens. First of all, a takes on x, and then a takes on minus y. Okay, and so when this happens, you have a taking on x to give you ax, and when a takes on minus y, you have minus ay. Okay, and then b starts up and takes on x plus b, and then you have plus bx, and then b moves again and takes on y, not just y, minus y, and you have minus by. Okay, so this is how you expand values. Alright, I want us to talk about difference of 2 squares. Difference of 2 squares. It may not really look important for this stage of your study, but you just need to know it for further studies. Difference of 2 squares. Alright, I will have to say this about them: when complementary signs hold for brackets. Alright, signs holds for brackets. Okay, all we are saying is that is when you have a bracket a plus b and the next bracket a minus b, look at the brackets, you find out that they look identical, and then the only difference is just that the signs separating them are different, but they look identical. Alright, so let's find out what happens when you multiply identical values with different signs, joining them together. Let's find out what happens. And so a takes on a, okay, and it gives you a squared, okay, and then a takes on minus b and it gives you minus b squared, okay. Remember this is plus a, sorry, and it gives you minus a and b. Alright, this is plus a and this is minus b. Then when plus and minus multiplies, it becomes negative, and then you write ab together, you multiply the two digits together, the two digits ab, and then the next follows that b multiplies a, positive b multiplies positive a, and then you have positive ba, or you can write as ab2, and then positive b multiplies negative b, and so you have negative b squared. So all we have from this outcome is a squared minus ab plus ba minus b squared. And you know these two are the same, you know, multiplying and subtracting and adding the same quantity will give you 0, and so you have a squared minus b squared as the outcome of this expansion. Alright, so when you multiply difference of two squares, and then you will have a value that looks exactly like this. Now you should note that where the signs lies do not really matter, because it could actually be a plus b and this, and if you carry out the same multiplication expansion, you have a squared, and then you have ab, and then you have plus ab, and then here you have minus ba, and then you have minus b squared, okay, which will eventually lead you, these two takes care of themselves, and this becomes b squared too, which will eventually lead you to the same outcome. So wherever the sign lies does not really matter. As you can see in the first example, the sign lies with the positive sign lies with the first bracket, but in the second example the negative sign lies with the first bracket. Alright, I want us to talk about factorization of linear expansion, because what we talked about previously is on expansion, factorization of linear expressions. Okay, the algebraic expressions. Alright, we should note that factorization is the opposite of expansion. Alright, I'll use arrow like this to depict that factorization is the opposite of expansion. Okay, and since it is the opposite, what we do in factorization involves collection of like terms. Alright, as well as finding common factors. Alright, so all you need to do here is to pick the common factor. For example, we solve by examples here. for example, example number 1, you are given ax plus ay. Okay, the common factor between the two expressions is a, and so you pick out a and then put x and y in a bracket. Okay, and example 2, you factorize. If you try to factorize ax plus bx, okay, plus ay plus by, okay, the same thing we do, we collect like terms. Okay, we collect like terms, we join terms that look alike together, and you see that x is contained in a and in y too, so we can take like terms of x, we can take like terms of a, but assuming we take like terms of x, ax plus bx, and we'll put in a bracket, and then plus ay plus by, and we'll put in a bracket too. So what would the outcome be? In the first bracket, x is common, and so we have a plus b, and then in the second bracket, y is common, and then we have a plus b. Alright, and in the next line you find out that a plus b are common, so we can pick them out as like terms, and then we have x and y left together. Okay, but you can as well group them in the form of, since you are given ax plus bx plus ay plus by, alright, you can group in terms of a's, ax plus ay. Okay, I'm picking these two terms together, and then plus bx plus by, you can group in this form, and then the common term here is a, and then you have x plus y, and the common term here is b, and then you have x plus y, and so you can join the two terms, a plus b, because the common term here is x plus y. Alright, this is how you factorize. This is how you factorize. We've come to the end of this class, and I believe that we've had solutions that will help you solve your mathematics easy and conveniently. Alright, keep practicing and enjoy. Have a blessed